right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are tuning in, it is Wednesday, unless it's a replay, Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, here in beautiful Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. We are filming on Monday the 24th for Wednesday, the August 26th, our last show of August.
The summer's almost over with.
Yeah. But hang tight because, September will get 90, 80 degrees on average. But beautiful Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, here on Fifth Dimension Radio. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And this is 10 Cent Beer Night, official sports show of Fifth Dimension. And real quick, I do want to dedicate this show, if you're watching on the YouTube or another TV outlet here, you can see I'm wearing a Nick Chubb jersey. I'm going to dedicate the show to Nick Chubb and his career. The running back hung it up over the weekend.
He did? I did not hear that.
He did. He did call it a career.
He wasn't that old.
No, he just turned 30. The knee problems, of course, the big injury a couple years ago in Pittsburgh, that pretty much did it for him. And that was the same leg that he tore in college too. And that's what they're saying about, he came out of that group at Georgia with Todd Gurley and Sony Michel. And for those that don't remember, Gurley was a first-round pick, went to the Rams. He did help take them to the Super Bowl, but he didn't play the Super Bowl because he was so banged up by the time the Super Bowl happened. And he never was the same again. And Sony Michel was the first-round pick ahead of Nick Chubb, who was a second-round pick to the Patriots, and his injuries derailed his career too. So those three never had Hall of Fame potential, but never got to see. I want to say fruits of their labor, but it's hard to say because Gurley and Chubb definitely showed some spark and had some great seasons, but they didn't get to have that Adrian Peterson type career, that LaDainian Tomlinson career, which would go deep into their mid-30s there.
I wish Chubb the best of luck.
Right. And a lot of the free agents were getting signed, and he wasn't. Najee Harris, former Steelers first-round pick, got signed to the Giants about a week ago, and he was having injury problems too. But he was a little more healthy. He's a little younger too, so Giants took a shot at him. Not shot, but shot.
Gave him
a shot. Yeah. They didn't come after him. And there was no real offers for Chubb, and he did retire Brown. He did put that in his final letter that he's going in as a member of the Dog Pound, so going out, I should say. So we really appreciate it. What bothered me about it was it happened so fast. It was like we had him for a moment, and then it was done. Like, I know he was here for, I think it was 7 years in Cleveland, 1 in Houston. And in Houston, he did okay, but still, the knee wasn't the same. And those 7 years, flew by. It was just, we had this just dominant and I know people that were alive and witnessed Jim Brown and his majesty, majestic performance on the field. And they said, watching Chubb, they said this before the injury, they said, it's like Jim Brown reincarnated. They said
I've heard that.
I mean, a lot of people were convinced he was the next Jim Brown, and he retired at 30 just like Jim. And he's one of 5 players, including Jim, who averaged over 5 yards a carry at the end of his career at 30.
Yeah.
With at least, 1,000 attempts or something. There's a technicality there. But
you can be compared with Jim Brown, you were good.
Yeah.
Because Jim Brown was the greatest running back there ever was.
Oh, yeah.
Like it or not.
Right. And Jim Brown made that call. People forget. He was the one that took the podium and announced Nick Chubb. They handpicked him to do because they do the player announcements. Joe Hayden did it this past April, May, for whatever the draft was in Pittsburgh for the Browns. Which is funny because Hayden was a member of both the Browns and the Steelers, but he did the picks for the Browns. Originally it was supposed to be Phil Dawson, but he couldn't make it.
Right.
So that was the tradition that started years ago, and so they handpicked Jim Brown to do that one, and ended up being pretty much the heir to his throne in the franchise there. Obviously not as very successful career. He's going to fall short of the Hall of Fame, just because of technicality and numbers. But I mean,
well, eventually the Veterans Committee will probably put him in.
That would be nice.
They do have that one slot every year for the Veterans Committee.
Right. So we did talk about Chubb there. We'll get to more Brown stuff a little bit later. I do want to talk about our next high school football broadcast here for Fifth Dimension Radio. Last week you guys had a blowout. It looks like
Norton 49, Garfield
7. Yeah. So it is what it is. We got.
Well, it's a week. It's a week one game.
Right.
They're going to get better. I mean, they had a total of 33 penalties in that game.
That's a lot.
You can tell it's the first game of the year for both teams. Right.
You got Talmadge at Green, and I think this could potentially be a good one. Last year, Green kind of ran through them, if I remember correctly.
Well, it was real close first half.
Right.
And then Green just ran away with the second half.
Right.
Last year at Talmadge. So, and this is a rivalry. This goes back long time ago when both of them are in different leagues right now because Green's in the Federal League, Talmadge is in the Suburban. But this rivalry goes back until the years when they were in the Metro League together.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you got Talmadge. They're 1-0 after the 21-0 defeat against Ellett in Ellett. Green is 0-1.
Yeah, they got beat.
And
they got beat by Sandy Valley.
Yeah.
Which is at Norton this week.
Right.
And Sandy Valley is supposed to be loaded, so Norton.
They beat up on Green.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Rivals.com, according to them, Green has a 98% chance of winning, and they have Green winning 41-7. So that's Rivals.com. Yeah. So they have a score prediction.
Well, like I said, a lot of people was talking to Sandy Valley team down there in southern Tuscarawas, or south of here, Tuscarawas County, could be one of the best Division 5 schools in the state.
There you go. I mean, so pregame 6:45?
6:45, kickoff 7 o'clock.
Kickoff, and that is this Friday here, and it'll be in Green.
Ronnie Whitmer and Chris Canova doing the play-by-play and color analysts.
Absolutely, and it's supposed to be good weather. We're supposed to have a clear night prediction there.
I just talked to producer Bob before we start here. He says there's a chance of rain, but
I'll pull up the latest here. But I was reading.
But then again, you know what?
There might be rain earlier. They said 31%. So okay, it's not gonna be, but it's gonna be 76 degrees, 55 low. It'll be fine. No storm. We're predicted to have a storm on Thursday, so I mean, so it could go either way. So producer Bob could be right, but I don't anticipate it.
Producer Bob's always right.
Yeah, he is.
He is Mr. Fifth Dimension Radio.
He is. He definitely is, man. So we'll have that broadcasted there, and of course, video replays will be posted on the website, and then. It's supposed to be on WAOH on Monday nights there.
It is going to be, we did get word today that they will be Monday evenings at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock there. So, so like if you're a Talmadge or Green parent or family member, you missed the broadcast or whatnot, but you want to see.
But you can also go to our webpage, 5dradio.net. Click on where it says events, sport, and then go to football schedule, and on the side of where the game is at, it says replay. You can push that, and it goes right to our YouTube page.
There you go.
It's a great setup. So.
Right. But yeah, if you want to use the YouTube or WAOH TV to watch your kid play on TV on a screen, and just because maybe you missed it or whatnot, we have the replays there. So. Again, Talmadge at Green there. We have the Blue Devils and the Bulldogs, which is funny. It kind of cracks me up a bit. I'm around Green a lot, and I keep thinking it's a bunch of Georgia fans because they're called the Bulldogs.
And their emblem is almost like the Georgia's, but it's a different color. It's green and black, and Georgia's is red and white or something like that. But the exact same G on their helmets.
Right. That's what throws it. It's the exact same G. The exact same. Similar. Georgia's red and black, and green is, believe it or not green at all. It's black and orange.
Yeah.
So it kind of just
Well, Orange High School is green and white. Think about that.
yeah. Now producer Bob's confused. He doesn't know how to. That's right. Imagine being a Browns fan and attending Cuyahoga Falls, and it's black and yellow are your colors. So that's kind of.
Black and gold is false colors.
I think black and gold.
Black and
Okay,
gold.
black and gold's technically Columbus Crew colors, not Steelers colors. So that's so that's not as bad. Yeah, if it's black and yellow, we're having a whole different conversation. But that's here or there. But back real quick. So we got that. That'll be this Friday. Going to switch gears to the Cleveland Guardians. They had a good week this week.
Had a good week.
And Bob, as I told you last week, I said this is an opportunity to get some wins. They're playing a weaker schedule here. They went 5-1 last week. They did drop one to the Giants. It was 0-1. And there was a funny story with that one. That was a guy. His nickname is Tugboat, but but Matt Wilkinson is his real name. It was his first professional start. Maybe some Cleveland Guardian fans didn't recognize the name. Akron Rubber Ducks fans did. He was the lefty pitcher that went along with the draft pick for Patrick Bailey in the trade. Giants called him up, and he only pitched 2 innings, but he led to a shutout and beat the Guardians 1-0 there. But that was their only loss there. They beat up on the Giants other than that. They beat up on Colorado big time in Denver. By the time you hear this, they will be wrapping up a series against Anaheim, and that's another team that they should also be beating.
They need at least take 2 out of 3 in that one.
And then going into the weekend, they're back home against the Kansas City Royals.
And there's another possible series.
Right.
But Kansas City's playing tough right now, though.
They are tough.
I think they just won their 8th in a row last night.
Right. And this team does. I've been kind of keeping my eye on them, and despite the record, they do not make it easy for you to beat them. They don't. They're tough. Even the tougher teams had a hard time against them. So some of the bigger teams, I should say.
But we should still beat them. Right.
Right, absolutely. And then going to our next 10-cent beer night the following there, they're going to stay home and play the Toronto Blue Jays, who again
they're struggling.
They're struggling, but I mean that's a team they can find a way to beat you out of nowhere too.
The Yankees just took their series from them.
Right.
Of course, the Yankees.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we have in the AL Central, White Sox 68-62 and first. Guards are 3.5 games back. Twins are 5.5, and Detroit is 7. So right now, because they're playing Kansas City, I'll bring it up. They're 58-74 and 11 games back. In the AL East, you have the Tampa Bay Rays in first. They're 77-53 record. Good news over the weekend. Former Rubber Ducks owner Ken Babby made some headway of getting St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area to keep them and move forward with it's not official, but they took steps forward to keeping them in the area and building the new stadium there. And they said it was very positive talk, so that's great to hear for the Tampa Bay fans. Yankees 3 games behind them, Red Sox 6, and Blue Jays and Orioles 14 or more games behind the Rays there. In the AL West, the Astros 65-66 are tied for first with the Texas Rangers. 3 games behind them are the Mariners, and Angels and A's are on the wayside. There are a lot of injuries for both those teams. Wild card race for the American League. If it ended today, Yankees, Red Sox, and Guardians in order would have clinched the wild card there. Rangers are actually tied with the Guardians, but Guardians have the edge there.
They have the tiebreaker.
Right. And this is where it's different. I keep talking about the division, who's in and who's out and all that. Blue Jays, who are 11 games behind for the division, are only a game and a half behind for the last wild card spot. So this is where it changes. So Blue Jays are going to come right at you. That's what I mean. Like they're hanging in there.
They're going to come.
Twins are 2 games behind. Orioles are 2 games behind. So we, again, talk about the division. Orioles and Blue Jays are out of it, but right now, the wild card, they're still very much in the conversation. Mariners 3 games behind, Tigers 3.5 games behind, and Royals are only 7.5 games behind. So with that wild card in play, some of those teams that was like saying, hey, don't worry about them, you might want to start just keeping an eye on them because they can move up for those wild card spots. The division, probably not in their
Well, I don't see it in
the
the
cards.
division. I mean, there's a possibility, but I don't see a division. The Guardians winning the division. I
You don't
really,
think so?
I really don't. You got 30 games left. There's 3.5. I mean, there's a possibility. We do play the.
They doubt them the past couple of years, and it happened.
Yeah, we doubted. There was 15 games under last
Right.
year and caught them, but I just don't see the White Sox giving up.
They are hot. They are red hot right
I
now.
don't see the White Sox giving up right now. They're beating anybody and everybody.
Right, they really are. Real quick, National League, Braves are in first in the NL East, 76-55. Phillies 3 games behind them, Marlins 9. Nationals dipped big time to 15.5 games. And then you got the Mets there at 17. NL Central, Brewers are in first place at 81-50. We'll probably have officially a winning record this season this week. One win away there from that being a reality. Cubs are 6 games behind. And then this is where this was the closest division. It's no longer the case. Cardinals 15.5, Pirates 18.5, Reds 19.
Wow.
And NL West, Dodgers 80-51. Again, just like the Brewers, I expect them to have an official winning record for this season this week. They're 2 more wins until that happens. Padres are 9 games behind. Diamondbacks, they dipped a bit. They're 11 games behind, though, but they're 69-62. And then Giants and Rockies are way down there. Forget about it. And then
Forget about it. They're playing their hearts out.
and they're getting paid. I will say Rockies are one of the top attended teams still.
They are.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they love their Rockies baseball.
Cleveland played them in Colorado,
Yep.
and there was a sellout in 2 of the 3 games.
Right.
Sellout, and they're in last place.
Right. Good for them.
Well, what else is there in Denver, Colorado?
Oh, there's a lot, but we won't go in there.
You know, you got the Nuggets, but they're not playing.
No.
They support their sports out
You
there.
got the Broncos come up, and they were in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's expected to be some hype there. But National League wild card real quick. Cubs, Phillies, and Padres hold down the spots right now. Diamondbacks 2 games behind. Marlins 4. Cardinals 5.5. Pirates 8.5. Reds only 9. They're ahead of the Nationals in that conversation. Nationals are 10 there. 10.5, excuse me. Those are the only ones I think are in the conversation. Right? So, you never know. It's the division's been rough to the Reds, but everything else considered.
Well, that's why they got those 3 extra wild card teams.
So, absolutely. But as far as the Guardians go, Joe Adell having a great week. Foster Griffin getting another win. He's got 15 wins this season. Of course, only 2 of those are in Cleveland. But, I mean,
I like the kid,
which one?
Griffin.
Yeah.
I liked him. I mean, I think he pitched pretty well.
Right. I think it was a good
Where did we
pickup.
get him from?
The Nationals. I told you. I called you about that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was an all-star this year, and he was on a 1-year deal, so Nationals moved him for...
Well, then he's on a 1 deal. He'll be gone from Cleveland next year.
He probably will be.
If he's a 1-year deal, he's gone.
So,
Nationals knew they couldn't afford him, and I know Garden ain't going to be able to afford him. He's on a 1-year contract.
Nationals want to save money to sign their younger guys to an extension there. When we come back, Cavaliers finally made a big trade, and there's still a roster spot left. We'll talk about who's going to fill that and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night here on Fifth Dimension Radio. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
No, all right. And Baseball Bob's in a giddy mood because even though we're nearing playoff baseball, September baseball, I should say, that's exciting before the playoff baseball. Even though the NFL's almost starting, college football, he's excited for basketball. He's just ready.
I'm ready.
You know,
I'm ready for Zips basketball.
He's been watching the WNBA all week. He's getting ready for the men's team. Thank you actually for the Zips. I meant to bring that up. And Bob's just all about the basketball, what's going on. So let's keep you up to date real quick regarding. Let's start with the Zips because you brought that up. So some interesting things are going on. The NCAA issued some new ruling about a fifth-year option for players, given the certain circumstances and whatnot. It's really, really affected everybody in some way or form.
It really helped us.
Yeah. We had mentioned about weeks ago Evan McHafey, who graduated for Akron, was eligible for a fifth year, and they're working on. And if he does get it granted, it's not official yet. He's coming back to Akron. Amani Lyles just got his fifth-year option extended, but it's no word if he's coming back to Akron or he's going to go somewhere else.
I heard through a grapevine there's a possibility he's going to Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina. That's
where Gross is.
No, he's in Charleston.
Well, down there in that area.
Yeah. And
no, South Carolina.
Tavari Johnson, excuse me. He got his fifth-year option accepted, and he's going to go to Charleston with Gross. So as far as Lyles, I don't know. He did spend some time.
I heard Lyles is going to Charleston with Gross.
We'll find out, and we'll definitely let you know. But he did spend some G League time with the Sixers, not G League, excuse me, Summer League, with the Sixers, and played very well. He really did. And that affected. I'll have to pull it up because I didn't have it ready, but it affected the Browns too, because one of their tight ends they got was undrafted out of Ole Miss, got his fifth year accepted, and behind the scenes was getting ready to transfer to LSU. And Todd Monken admitted, Lane Kiffin called me, left me a message. I didn't call him back. He said, I probably should call him back because I think it has to do with that tight end we have to give up. And so they had to put him through waivers, and he's going to go back to go to LSU there. I'll pull up his name here. Yeah, that was Daquan Wright, who was with Philadelphia Eagles mini camp after the draft, and then he came to Cleveland, and then even got some of the preseason action, and then now he's head to LSU to play with Lane Kiffin there. So I mean it's been kind of wacky, but we'll see what happens and how this affects the Zips more. We'll find out where Amani Lyles, if he's going to go to Charleston or not. But I do know if Mahaffey gets cleared, it's already said, because Coach Ford's fighting with him to get that fifth year. And so, of course, if he's fighting alongside him, he plans to coming back to Akron here. So, and that would be they already have a good thing going with what they have, with all the new recruits and everything. To add Mahaffey back in the starting lineup along top of that would be a big deal.
This fifth-year thing came in because of COVID.
Right.
Because, a lot of kids lost eligibility and stuff because of the COVID years. And I'm glad to see that the NCAA is letting this happen.
Right.
They give these
and
kids
limiting it, too.
Yeah, limiting it.
I mean, we had Bob, this was probably last year, we're talking about the college football season. We had a tight end out of the University of Miami who, I almost said went to the championship, lost to Indiana. It was his 9th year there. And he did stay in class. He got his PhD to make it happen. But he got accepted every year due to all these technicalities. Yeah, he was almost 30 years old playing college football still. Yeah. But he said he loved the atmosphere. Every opportunity he got to stay, he took advantage of. And especially then the NIL money came in, and then he started getting paid to do it. And so he's getting paid. He's still in class. He got his PhD and so he did everything right. But it was a little ridiculous. It got to a point, it's like, okay, here's a guy that, I mean, there's freshmen who were 8th graders when he started playing college football. And they're his teammate now.
I'm glad to see it because of that COVID year. But, in a couple years from now, these kids wouldn't have been around when COVID was hit. So they need to do away with that. You get to just 4-year eligibility and you're done.
Right.
Right.
Unless you get redshirted. That's the exception. And that's why you got
that's
red.
The exception is redshirting. But then again, if you're a kid, like I always say, if you're a kid, go where you're going to play. Don't go where you're going to get redshirted. Then you're going to have to sit another extra year.
Right.
Go somewhere you're going to play. Ask the coach, am I going to play?
I brought it up last week. There was a wide receiver high school recruit Akron got that was high profile nationwide. And University of Florida talked to all these big schools did. He's coming to Akron. The suspicion is because he's going to get on the field right away. So that's why he's
here.
At
a major university, 90% of the time you're going to be your first year. You're sitting the bench. You're going to be redshirted.
Unless you're that good. Unless you're Jeremiah Smith.
Well, unless you're good, but
right.
But a lot of times you got a freshman coming in. He better be as good as the two seniors that are starting.
Right.
Or he ain't going to be playing.
Right.
So.
Going back to basketball here, Cleveland Cavaliers had made a massive trade, which resulted in finding a new starting small forward, finally getting James Harden signed, and opening up a roster spot. So, in case you missed it, this is how it went down. There was 5 teams were involved: Cavaliers, Nuggets, Clippers, Hornets, and Wizards. And it goes back to the Dennis Schroeder trade that was made official a couple weeks ago, but they implicated it into this trade here. So this is what happened. The Cavaliers received Peyton Watson and have signed him to a 4-year, $88 million deal. He was the starting small forward for the Denver Nuggets. He was a restricted free agent. He wanted a lot of money because they signed Christian Braun, their shooting guard, to a $125 million offer. And he said, hey, I want something similar because he contributes just as much. Well, they didn't have the cap for that. So it left some problems. So finally what happened was in the trade, he goes to Cleveland. He signs a deal. He is with Clutch Sports, same agent as LeBron, Rich Paul. And so all that talk about Rich Paul not liking the Cavs, that's off the table. One of his younger clients that joined the Cavaliers here. So Peyton Watson signs there. In the trade, too, Cavaliers got Cam Whitmore from the Wizards. He has been waived. So that's where the roster spot got open. They also acquired draft rights to Ismail Kamagate, a 7'1" French center that's playing professional over there in France. Okay, so I mean that's just shelved. They got some draft rights there. Nuggets acquired Julian Reese from the Wizards. The Cavs 2031 first round draft pick and the Kings 2032 second round pick from the Cavs that they got for trading down with the Kings and getting drafted Malik Thomas there. Clippers acquired Max Strus. So he's going to join Darius Garland out there in L.A. Hornets acquired Dennis Schroeder officially in cash. Wizards acquired Trey Main, who the Cavs originally got from the Dennis Schroeder trade, so Cavs flipped him. He's going to go to the Hornets. A 2027 second-round pick from the Clippers that the Cavs got from trading Strus to the Clippers is going to the Wizards, and they got cash from the Cavs. So this trade is done there.
Yeah. Oh.
You don't know much about it.
I don't know. I like Max Strus. I like the kid.
This was an upgrade.
I don't know if it's upgraded or not. I don't know nothing about the other kid.
Well, let me break it down for you real quick. First fault with Max. I liked Max too. He was a team player. He was a fan favorite here. But the past 2 seasons, so you're talking 190 games combined. We're including playoffs here. Strus barely played 80 games.
It's no power of his own.
It was injury.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't help it.
Right.
You get hurt, you get hurt.
Yeah, but, I mean, you're getting paid to play, and, yeah, I mean, it was an issue.
The way their contracts are set up now, you're paid no matter what.
Right.
Player are hurt.
I know, but the point is he had issues staying healthy and whatnot. Peyton Watson's 6'8". He's explosive to the rim. He's got a 40% career percentage from the arc 3-point for those that don't know. So he's just as good shooting the 3, if not better than Max Strus. He's a two-way player though. Like he plays great on the defensive side of the ball. He is second since 2022. He is second, and I don't know who first is. Second in the league at contesting shots. The league has the second lowest percent of hitting shots when he is guarding you. So this guy is a stone cold great defender on top of his ability to score. The stat that caught my attention, other than that, there were games when Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jovic were hurt for Nikolai Jovic, excuse me, were hurt for the Denver Nuggets. Okay, and those are two of their better players. In those games, so they had to rely on Jamal Murray and other players, including Peyton Watson. Watson scored 22 points per game and 4.9 assists. So he was he was a contributor when they needed somebody else to step up. So this guy, he's great at both sides of the ball. He's 6'8". He's getting better too. They got him in his prime of his career. This is a good trade. You did sacrifice a first round pick in it. It wasn't just Strus. Unprotected first round pick. So no matter how bad the Cavs are, which right now they're still expected to have a pretty good team for a while, that the Nuggets will have that pick to use. I know a lot of Denver fans were upset. I mean, they said they really liked him. They were hoping to keep him. And they said this front office can't keep anybody that helped them win their championship a few years ago. Mm. So, I mean, that tells me they walked away with a good player if the other fan base is fuming right now. I mean, they're very, very upset. As far as this open roster spot, what are they going to use it for? Brian Windhorst reported, I think it was Friday night, he said Cavs are looking for an additional big man to add depth behind Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And he said Kevin Love is still out there. Expect his name to come up. All right. Yeah. Love wanted to join LeBron in Philly. Philly's roster is full. Okay. So it sounded like it's potentially either Utah or Cleveland for Kevin Love. He's still got enough in the tank. He's not going to retire. But
I'd like to see him in Cleveland, but I would love to see him better with LeBron in Cleveland.
I know, but it is what it is, and so they think, but the Cavs still got a very good thing going on. Another name that's been thrown out there.
They can always send us back Wade, and he can take Love.
They're not going to do that, especially Wade's got the bigger contract out of the three of them.
Well, three of them.
Yeah, between Love and LeBron. Yeah,
Wade's got the bigger contract?
Yes. LeBron only signed for $4 million each year.
Well, Philadelphia must be stupid.
Well, no. Wade's younger. That's what it is. Wade signed for almost $10 million a year. Yeah. So he got his bag there. The other name that's been thrown around, and I've heard this name for a few weeks.
So why did Cleveland let him go if he's worth $10 million?
Because we got Peyton Watson now. It's an upgrade. I'm telling you right now, it is an upgrade.
Well, we'll see.
Then on the open roster spot, because he's been helping me lose my focus here. Another name that was brought up a few weeks ago, it's back now in the talk, is Bruce Brown, who I do think is a fit for Cleveland. My thing is I would prefer a big man. Bruce Brown's like a small forward. Like 6'5", but I mean, good two-way player. He was also on that Nuggets team there. He's good friends with James Harden. He played with Harden, I think, in Houston. I'm going by memory here. He played with Harden before, so his name has come up. So it sounds like it's between him and Love of who's going to take that last roster spot. James Harden did sign a 3-year, $97 million deal, and he's officially one of 5 players, including LeBron and Kevin Durant, to enter, and Steph Curry's the other. I can't remember the last one. But to enter the $500 million club that will be earning $500 million in their time in the NBA. So officially, James Harden will be joining that. And Cavs' payment to him is either second or third most because he's played for a handful of teams that have paid him the most. I think Houston paid him the most. And I can't remember. I know Cleveland paid him more than Philly and L.A. I don't know if they paid him more than Brooklyn. I would have to look at it, but he's officially on the roster. He's back, so Cavs are one roster spot away from just making it work. Just moving forward there. But I like what they've done this offseason. I know it wasn't as flashy, but it was appropriate, is what I should say. And, missing out on LeBron, they had to make out some other decisions. And what I'll be more interested to see, Bob, is they trade Trey Maine. So that's telling me they're okay with who they have backup point guard wise, which right now is Craig Porter Jr., Proctor, the guy they drafted last year, and then but he's not a point guard, but Malik Thomas will be in the mix too as far as guards go, younger guards. So they are going with a different route here for point guard, and I do know like at times Harden when he'll get a break and be on the bench, they're going to move Mitchell to point guard too at times. So. And Sam Merrills also can play run point if need be, but they are going a different direction there. But I would prefer between Love and Brown to see Kevin Love there, not just because of the nostalgia and him being here, but you need another big man. He put out some quality performances for the Jazz last year. He still has enough in the tank. If you're getting a sizable body to rebound and then shoot from the outside, that's your guy right there. So. I will say, I did see a picture of Evan Mobley. He bulked up.
No.
So he's adding some
We'll see.
size. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well,
this team will actually be good, though. That's.
I'm a Cleveland fan.
Right.
I'm a Cleveland fan. I don't get my hopes up for any of them.
Right, but going into the season, it's going to be a fun, good season. It's just we'll talk about playoffs when we get there, but they're expecting to make the playoffs.
I remember 1986 when they put the Indians on the front page of Sports Illustrated as the best team of the year.
Right, but they
lost 100 games.
They weren't doing that beforehand. We know what we're getting into in basketball. As long as everybody stays healthy and can stay focused, and they're going to have
we
better
had a good chance last year. Where do we get?
We got beat by the better team.
Well,
the Knicks.
A lot of people thought we were the better team.
Yeah, but the majority did think the Knicks were the better team there. The Knicks were the better team at the end of the day. They didn't. I mean, they choked game one, but other than that, they got outplayed. And Spurs got outplayed big time by the Knicks too, because the Knicks were the best team in the league this past year. So I mean, there's no denying that.
We'll see what happens. I'm not, like I said, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
There you go. We got to take a break. When we come back, Browns have their final preseason game this Thursday. We have a starting quarterback. We have a new defensive end, and we have a quality player returning after injury. That and more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night here on 5thDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And we wish we had better news as Browns fans. It's been a wacky weekend. It's been a wacky week. But we'll just put it out there. This morning, Coach Todd Monken announced Deshaun Watson will be your starting quarterback going into the season.
How did you not know that?
I knew.
I've been telling you that from the very beginning.
He has.
Because $40 million, you're going to play the guy.
I think Bob's right. He has said this for a few months now, since probably at least since the draft.
There was no quarterback competition. Watson was getting it. He was already number one on the spot. Simple as that.
It was that, and then when Andrew Berry says stuff like, well, we're open to another contract with him because when we brought him in, we want him for at least a decade. Now, he's got to still earn it. That was telling me, okay, they have
decade?
Yeah, that when
his contract expires, he's out the door.
I think he will be too. Let me explain real quick. When he says that, I knew they were going to give him a serious chance. It was like, okay. They were talking about him trying to win comeback player of the year. They kept him in the loop with the team the past few years. When he first went down and Flacco took over, and then even last year with everything that was going on, he was still in the locker room and whatnot. He was still working out, but he's still again that Achilles he tore it twice within a span of
5 minutes,
5 months technically. Maybe 3 months it was. But, I mean, this has been going on since 2023. We've had this conversation. So they were ready to put him back out there. I think Bob is right. I don't think there was a competition because if there was, Shedeur won it.
He won it.
And
he won it.
I mean, I feel for him because okay, so their preseasons, Deshaun did solid the first game, Shedeur okay the first game, Shedeur solid the second game, Deshaun very poor the second game, okay? In training camp, Shedeur was all over the place in a good way. Like, he was leading the pack the entire time. Deshaun had one day where he really tore it up. Other than that, he was iffy. And so I think on a normal circumstance, and this is not a normal circumstance, Shedeur wins this competition, and he's the starting quarterback. But they were just like, look, we need to... I think they felt like they owed him the which they don't. They owed him the opportunity. They want him to go out and prove himself. And if worst case scenario, Shedeur comes in eventually, you know. But here's, for those that don't know, you know, after Saturday's game, Deshaun Watson was interviewed at the post game, and he attacked the fans because he didn't like the few that were there that were booing. It wasn't a lot, but there was booing, and he talked about. Did you see this?
No.
You did. Oh my gosh, you would have had a fit. So I'm shocked he didn't hear about this. They asked him about like the booing and how he felt. And he goes, "Well, it is very personal." Because he said the last time I was on that field, I tore my Achilles and they cheered, and he said, you know, it's a respect thing, this and that, and he came at these fans because people said, don't you think it's a performance thing where if you perform better they wouldn't boo you? And he goes, no, I don't think so, you know, and so he came at the fans there, and Chad Johnson, Shannon Sharp, and all these other former players were like, dude, all you gotta do is play better and they'll quit booing you. They're booing you because you're not playing well. You know, they're trying to get him to understand, like, look, you're just not doing your job. And he was, if you remember before that, and I'm not approving the booing. I mean the cheering when he tore his Achilles. I remember when I watched it went down.
Right, that was wrong. But if you ain't playing, you're booing.
Right.
I don't know any sport or any game that a guy is not booed if he's having a horrible time.
Right, especially when you're getting paid like he is. So they had every right to boo him when he went out there this past Saturday. Big deal. It's a preseason game. They didn't have a right to cheer when he went down with his Achilles. And I remember the day it happened, and about half the stadium cheered. And they try to blow it out like the whole stadium roared. No, that's not what happened. And when it happened, I said one or two things went through my mind. One, this is a bad look for the cheering. Two, how long is he going to be gone now? And he was gone longer than we thought because he re-tore it dancing with his fiance on vacation. And I mean, people forget that was a thing that happened. So here we are. He's the starting quarterback. Now here's the question I have for you, Buck. I thought you would have saw that because I want to throw this question at you.
I didn't see it.
Out of the crazy happened this weekend, what's crazier, Deshaun Watson going after the fans, or Enes Kanter getting thrown out of the Chicago Sky game for wearing a shirt that supported women's basketball at a women's basketball event?
I think supporting women's basketball.
That's what I would think too.
I didn't hear that one either. But then I'm all for supporting women's basketball. Keep the guys out of women's sports.
Enes Kanter, who used to play for the Jazz and the Celtics, he was in the Kyrie Irving draft, third overall pick out of Kentucky. He wore a shirt at the Chicago Sky game last night that was the Webster's Dictionary definition of a woman. One of the Chicago Sky players made a play, turned at him, and screamed at him. He threw his arms. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't call him by name.
Because you know that was a you know what.
Yeah.
You know.
And
that was a fruit.
And so they escorted him out of the game for it. They said it was the shirt. And all it had was the definition of what a woman was at a women's basketball event. Okay?
I didn't hear this one, but I'm glad you brought this one up.
Well, and here's the thing, too. If they do have a technicality that allows men in the league, he's applying for the draft. he's gonna play. He said, "I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I'm gonna play."
Yeah.
He's in good health. He's 7 feet tall. He's gonna play.
That's like we joke at the golf course. Me and Pete and my guys I golf with will always say, "Well, what are we today? We gonna play the gold tees as seniors or the red tees at women? What do you want to be today, a woman or a man?" We have a right to change our minds. I mean, that's the way the world is today. We always goof about that. Of course, we always end up playing the white tees, which is the older.
You're supposed to do that, yeah. But I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, again, he didn't call her names. He didn't flick her off. He didn't, he wore a shirt that was the definition of a woman, and the fact she got mad at it was weird. And
because she's not a woman.
No, she is a woman.
No, she's thinking herself as a man, so she's a fruitcake.
I don't know what Natasha Cloud thinks of herself, but I mean it is what it is.
If you it says you're a woman and you are a woman, you'd probably agree with that.
Right.
Why would you go against that? That you think you're a guy.
Right. So something's off here, but I think
something's off. Is in the head is
right.
what's off.
My point being too is we were talking on break about, you had mentioned like they're making money now and players like Caitlin Clark can get bigger deals now. They're in a great position. They have a chance to blow it all away. They have never been this is the best position this league has been, and they are one decision away.
It's their commissioner's got a problem too with that.
Right.
She believes that stuff should all be going on.
Well, I said teach them a lesson. Let these type of players apply, and maybe the Sirens can load up on male type women, and just load up
I'm gonna tell you what, we know, and probably 50% of the WNBA is that way.
It's in the group. It's in the LGBT community.
Yeah,
yes.
We'll go. I didn't want to say it. Be bad. Well, anyway, even women. Most of the women that go to watch these games, they bring their daughters and stuff like that, and they don't want their daughters to. I'm sure there's a couple that want their daughters to change, but they don't want their daughters to change. They want to show their daughters this is what women can be. This is what women can do. This is what, and you start getting to the point where they're letting guys come into this stuff, they're going to lose the fan base. Because I'm trying to teach my daughter that you could go there, you could be there, but don't want to teach her that.
One place where it's not man dominated is the women's basketball court, with the only men being the ref or the coach, because there are some male coaches, and that's not me being weird. It's women's basketball for a reason. It's a league of their own, okay, and I think that this does take away from them for protecting Title IX, and I just thought it was strange last night, more strange than Deshaun coming after the fans. That
he has a right. If somebody's going, they're cheering him because he hurt. I understand. I'd be peed too at the fans.
Right. Tim Couch was,
but I would not be peed if I'm doing bad, and somebody booing me. That'll give me the push to get better.
Right, absolutely there. So, that was my other problem too. Going back to the Browns real quick, I didn't want to bring up the WNBA real quick. But going back to the Browns, the other issue I wonder is the locker room, because they had mentioned, Shedeur had won over the locker room. Like, they were all in support of him. And I will tell you, too, like, I know they only played the second strings in this last preseason game, but it was, and Deshaun played with the third strings, which was, I'll be honest, that was a little weird of handling it, but that it is what it is. You also don't want a lot of your first stringers hurt. And that second, I did walk the game. They lost badly, but as far as the potential starters go, I walked away with a lot more positives this game than the first game. And the one was the offensive line for Shedeur was awesome, and they had Joe Bitonio along with Joe Thomas in the press box, and Bitonio was like, "Look at how good these guys are playing right now." They said, "Look at this line. Look at how great the blocking is." He was impressed. So that was a good takeaway right there. But Deshaun, there was problems. There was one video that came out with Casey Concepcion, the first-round wide receiver. Deshaun throws it dangerously up in the air and at an angle you can't because your wide receiver has a chance of getting hit wrong. And he threw it that way. Receiver brought it down. He got hit. He got stung up. He was okay, but, it hurt. His teammate kind of went up and in on him because that was the best play in that situation. And they caught in the mic, and you can barely hear it, but you can't tell if it's KC saying it, but it was a player. Somebody said, cut the quarterback in anger. And it was referring to Watson. And then there was a play in this past preseason. Watson threw the ball at the ground. One of those we've seen it several times, like, dude, who are you throwing it to?
And this is your starter.
Right. And Denzel, they showed...
There's a reason he's starting.
They cut to the side where Denzel Boston, the other rookie wide receiver is, who's expected to start. And he goes... He's like looking, and he didn't use his hand like I'm doing on TV here, but he did his head like pointing at it, and he looks over at his teammates like, what's with this guy? What's he doing? So he's losing the locker room. They don't like him. It's coming out. He's tough to deal with. And you forget, before you trade for him, he missed a whole year, not because of accusations. He dipped on his team. This guy don't care. He never has. And here he is. I think I want to call the whistle and say they told Monken, throw this season so we can try to get Manning, and then we'll take you more seriously next year. I hate to say that, but I can see that being the case, because why else would you start this guy when he got outplayed by the other guy, by the Pro Bowler?
Yeah.
I
don't know. Well, I do know why. $40 million.
Right. Thank you, Haslam. Thank you for that.
$40 million. And it comes down from Haslam.
Right.
I'm paying this guy. We're playing him.
Right.
I'm sorry. That is my opinion.
I don't think it's a pay. I think it's a fact. I think
you ain't going to have no backup quarterback or third-string quarterback making $40 million on the bench.
No.
It ain't going to happen.
Unless he's hurt or he proved he doesn't belong under center there. So,
and he sure hasn't done that. I mean, he proved he don't belong under center.
Right. So it's going to come down. We'll see. He's going to start in Jacksonville this Thursday. So tomorrow night, by the time you hear this, Dylan Gabriel will start, and then Talon Green will be playing the whole second half. So no Shadur, no Watson. It's just going to be pure backups there. And I think Green's going to stay. I think Gabriel's going to get traded. He's had a rough camp. He's had a rough preseason. I think they're ready to move on.
I don't think they gave him a chance myself.
Yeah.
All the talk's been on Sanders and Watson.
He didn't really play very well, though. That's the problem. And I remember they drafted him for Stefanski. He's not here anymore. And so I don't think Monken would have taken him.
Then they're probably going to take him. You're probably going to Atlanta.
I could see him going somewhere else. I could see Miami, too, who needs some more quarterback depth, who really liked him. I know it's a different front office and coaching staff there now, but that's another one. We'll see. I mean, it might be chance he gets cut and someone puts him on a practice squad. So there's that, too. But, I mean, he really did not play well this summer. He just didn't. So I won't say it's unfair when, he just didn't. Some bad news, good news. Bad news, Alex Wright ruptured Achilles. He's out for the season. That happened during the Bills scrimmage the other day. They did sign Derek Barnett, who former first-round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles, won a Super Bowl with them. He's with Houston the past 4 or 5 seasons. Houston fans wanted him back. Right when Cleveland signed him, they're like, we were really hoping he would come back, this and that. And Houston just didn't make a push to resign him. But this is a good pressure guy. He'll get you some sacks. He'll help stop the run a bit. But, I mean, losing Alex Wright hurts, especially when you already don't have Myles Garrett. You do have Verse, but now you have Barnett on the other side of Verse now. And you still have Isaiah McGuire. And they were trying former Ohio State Buckeye Mike Hall Jr., who was D-tackle at defensive end. He looked explosive. He played very well the other day, so that might be another thing to look out for. Speaking of defensive tackle, Malik Collins is back after injury. He is back in practice, so that's a good thing. He played very well with us last year, and of course, he went down in that 49ers game, and but he'll be back. He'll be your starter next to Mason Graham there. So they'll probably ease his way in, but he'll be starting sooner than later. But so that's some good news. I'm really glad to hear. Good player, good leader. You want to talk about a guy that is good in the locker room, and his presence and leadership there shows. So we'll see. But yeah, as far as this Browns season, I've never been not so hyped for a Browns season, NFL season period. I think for the other teams it'll be great. Not everybody. We'll have a breakdown next week for our NFL preview, for sure. But
when's the Browns' first official game?
It'll be in 2 weeks. So we'll do one next week or next. I'll have to figure it out. But
I'll tell you what, though, I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm looking more forward to the Zips, who are looking for their offensive coordinator of the game there, and the Zips did it.
I'm curious to see how that works out.
Right.
I mean, if this comes out, the guy does the very first offensive play of the game. If it works out, should we hire him?
Right.
Have they named who the new?
They haven't named the person. They came down to 9 finalists.
I want my season tickets. Am I in the drawing?
Yeah, we all are. But
I'm going to be in the bomb. I want the Hail Mary.
Right. Real quick, I didn't want to read this. Zips scheduled some tough opponents for the future.
I seen that.
In 2027, it'll be Arizona State, and a lot of these are first timers that they've never played before. In 2027, along with Arizona State, you have Rutgers, UNLV, and Maine. Okay, that's good. That's gonna be tough next year. Why did they make this so tough? I don't understand. They're going to play Vanderbilt in 2028.
Why? You don't understand why?
Okay, never mind. We don't have time to talk about that. And also in 2028, they'll play Wyoming again, like they did last year in West Virginia, on top of Vanderbilt. And then in 2020,
they're going to Wyoming.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, they played Wyoming at.
They played. Yeah, Wyoming was here last year. Yeah. In 2029, Akron will play Georgia for the first time ever. 2030, they will play Cincinnati for the first time ever. That's in football, by the way. So those big schools Akron's never played before. It's going to be interesting.
I'm going to have to look that up. I think Akron had played them.
Who?
Cincinnati.
They may have.
Years ago, because years ago, I think at one time they were all in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Right. We got to get going, Bob. Remember, Talmadge at Green broadcast this Friday. Pregame 6:45 p.m. Kickoff at 7. Other than that, school's back. I hope everybody has a good first day of school. This is for college, high school, middle school, junior high, whatever. And just kindergarten, all our new kindergartners there. I hope everybody has a safe, good first day and week of school. Enjoy. I think it's Labor Day this weekend?
Next weekend.
The next weekend's there. So, yeah, okay. Wish a happy Labor Day when that comes up. But right now, everybody be good to each other. Go Guards, go Ducks. Ducks should be wrapping it up here this week.
September 6th is the last home game.
There you go, September 6th there. Go Guards, go Ducks.
And go Zips.
Yeah.
They're coming up.
Zips
it's
and
coming
Buckeyes
up.
are coming up, so go Zips and Buckeyes there. You guys have a good one. We'll when we talk next week, where the Guards will be, we'll talk about the Cavs for that last roster spot and the Browns and what we're expected of them and not expected of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that, but we will.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, you guys
have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.